Well, we had a long road trip last week, and it was long in duration, and had some. It was long, and also the way we played. Of course, wanted to come back with some more wins under our belt. We weren't able to accomplish those goals, and looking back, giving credit to both of those teams for the way they played in North Texas and Rice. Thought we had some good moments, especially on the defensive end, of kind of hanging around and finding a way to be in the game. But offensively, we really struggled, and that's the thing that we're trying to diagnose as a coaching staff and figure out how to help our guys, play with more rhythm and pace and find ways to stay out of those types of lulls because it's really hard on the road when you're not scoring the basketball. So we've got this week to try to heal some of these bumps and bruises that we've got going on, and also try to get better in getting ready for Tulane on Saturday.
I just open it for questions.
I guess how frustrating is kind of the inconsistency of this group, that you go through spells where you play really well and then you kind of go through spells where you just kind of aren't in it?
Yeah, that's the hard part. Like we say all the time that being great is being consistently good. It's not out of this world for a night or two and then very poor and then averaging it out. Like we're searching for consistency, and again, in this league, it's tough. Like there's some really good teams, and going on the road is challenging. But as I will tell our team this afternoon, is we scored 80 points per game for 2 games in those 2 wins, and then we averaged 47 points per game these last 2 games. Now, these last 2 games were much slower tempo, much fewer possessions, but still, we had our chances, and I think we got a little bit rushed. We had some guys not have their best games. That happens, but we're just very inconsistent overall.
Getting off to slow starts. That was a problem in both games. I played a better second half in the Rice game yesterday, but digging yourself a hole like that has got to be a little bit frustrating, especially when you're on the road in settings like that.
It makes it really hard. You always want to play from in front or be in the fight right away. We spotted them big leads early in both games, and we talk about in any race, like you watch the 100-yard dash, like you don't want to get out of the block slow and play from behind. Like you want to get off to a good start and at least be even, and then start to get into your stride. But both those teams jumped on us early. We're looking at from lineups to what we're doing. Again, every game is different. Every opponent and the way that they play and how they defend and what they do offensively has its own thumbprint. But no matter what, we can't fall behind like we did.
Doesn't get any easier Wednesday with Tulane coming in, and how good that they've been defensively, statistically, challenges that they present.
Yeah, Tulane is different with their matchup zone. They're the only team in the league that really does it like that, and they do it throughout the game. We lost by 3 at their place. We had a shot really to win the game. Didn't score it great, but we were able to defend them pretty well, and they've got a high-octane offense. We play the game on Saturday, so we've got some time this week to try to get healthy and also formulate a really good plan and try to go out and execute that plan, because they are unique. There's no doubt.
And Coach, they stopped you with 56, but you were in the game, and I guess that's the common thread on if you're struggling offensively, you better darn well play defense, or you'd be looking at a bad score. So again, defense this week, part of the focus?
It's always part of the focus, and because they are unique. They play a 5-out style. They're you could call him their 5-man Glenn, but he's really more of like a big wing or power forward type. Brumbaugh is really good, and they've got some Banks. Like those guys they're like big wings. They've got good overall size, but they're not playing with this big burly center. So they propose different problems defensively. So you absolutely have to figure out a way to guard them. But offensively, we're just all over the place. We've got some guys that are capable of making three-point shots. We've had a hard time getting consistency, getting fouled, and getting to the box area. I thought North Texas and Rice had the way they formulated their defense to try to keep us away from there. But we got to figure out how to score. We were down 15 at the half against Rice, and to start the second half, the first 14 possessions of the second half, we hold them to like 4 points in 14 possessions, which is elite. The problem is we only scored like 9 points in those 14. So we cut in the lead by 5, but if you're at 1 point per possession and we still defend like that, now it's like a 4 or 5 point game, and now we're in it, and now things can look a whole lot interesting. So we've got to figure out how to be more consistent scoring.
It seems you've struggled most with really physical defensive teams that really bully you a little bit, and then not to make a comment about the officiating, but if they let you play, if they're letting teams play, that makes it even more difficult. What do you say to your team when teams are kind of physically manhandling you, and then you're not getting a whole lot of calls going your way? How do you address that?
Well, we look at all the calls, and you look at the stat sheet in this game in particular. Rice is a very big team. They start 6'7" at the wing, and then they go 6'10" and 6'10", and they had 13 offensive rebounds to our 5. Therein lends itself. They've got more activity around the box area. They're getting more fouls. They're playing down there more than us, and we've got to be more proactive with our physicality. We can't wait to see what the terms of engagement are and then try to comply. We've got to go out there and try to set the terms, and that's been my message to the team this entire season. But we've been waiting, and we've got to find more ways to get the ball in the box. We have a couple guys that we can post. We have a couple guys that are drivers, but we have a number of guys that are more catch-and-shoot type players, and we've got to keep finding different ways to put pressure on the basket so we can make twos and also get fouled.
Anything else, guys? All right, thanks. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, everybody.